Hello everyone, this is Ron from High Tech Legion, and what we have here today is a Sentey Arvina Extreme Division GS-6400B full tower gaming case. The Arvina's Extreme Division line is the full tower gaming line, and the Arvina has two other colors. This version comes in blue, designated by GS-6400B. The GS-6400 is the black version, while the GS-6400R is the red version. As you can see on that sticker in the upper left hand corner, the Arvina is SSD mounting ready. And for the rest of the features, we will flip the box. You can see the specifications listed on the side. We have 6 coolers or fans installed already, and it also comes with a toolbox for easy installation. The top panel is recessed and has an eSATA USB, 4 USB ports, SATA, and audio and microphone ports. Also, it appears that the Arvina has a card reader installed in the top front of the front panel, and has options for cable management, and it includes some reusable cable ties. The hard drive bays are also removable, and at the bottom there are a whole list of features that I think will be best once we open it to take a look at it that way instead of reading it. So we're going to open up this box and see. I normally skip this part of the unboxing, as most cases come with a standard styrofoam packaging and the plastic covering. But in this case, the Arvina actually came in a large black cloth cover, similarly found in power supplies. At the top part of the front panel, you will find a multiple card reader and 5.25 inch drive bays, 2 of which at the very top are easy access slots. The Sentey Arvina's front panel is fully perforated for higher airflow. At the bottom part is a single 140mm intake fan that comes pre-installed. To remove the front panel, simply grab from the bottom and pull. You can see that you can also install a smaller fan, and behind each of the dry bay covers is a dust filter. The Sentey Arvina side panels are secured by thumb screws, and both have very high quality glossy finishes. To remove the left side panel, there is a convenient handle that you just need to pull in to remove it. At the back of the left side panel, there are actually ventilation holes and dust filters, although this dust filter can only be cleaned by removing the screws that lock it in place. The right side panel is a little bit more plain, although it still has the convenient locking mechanism. At the bottom, the Sentey Arvina is elevated a centimeter off the ground and has these rubber points to prevent slipping. There's also a large ventilated area for the intake, optional 120mm or 140mm intake fan that can be mounted at the bottom, and also the ventilation for the intake of the power supply. This filter can be serviced and cleaned, although you have to remove the bottom cover by removing the screws from inside the case. Similar to the front panel, the top part of the Arvina is also fully perforated for higher airflow. Here you'll also find the power button and on and off switches for the fans. Behind the smoked acrylic cover, you'll find 4 USB 2.0 ports, audio ports for both your microphone and your headphone, an eSATA port, as well as a SATA connector port. You'll also find a hard drive activity LED and the reset button. At the back, you'll find a single 120mm pre-installed exhaust fan and also 2 grommeted water cooling holes. The Sentey Arvina supports 7 PCI expansion slots and has a bottom-mounted power supply. With the side panels removed on the Sentey Arvina, we can now take a closer look at what we can find inside. First thing you'd notice, of course, is this VGA cooling mechanism. We're just going to move it aside for a bit and go back to it later. We're going to check out the accessories that come with the Arvina first. In this box, we can find just a long white box. First thing we see is a driver disk utility I'm assuming it is for the card reader, since that is the only part that requires drivers. And we also have long cables. And if you remember that the top part of the Sentey Arvina has connectors for the SATA as well as the eSATA, and Sentey actually included SATA data and power connectors for that port. And let us put this aside and look at the rest of the accessories. We have, of course, the documentation. Let's see what's inside. It is there's actually several pieces of it. We have the product warranty, and you have a catalog for the rest of the Extreme Division line, and of course the rest of the other Sentey series, including power supplies, not just cases, and of course video cards as well. And this is what is important, the user manual for the Arvina Extreme Division case. You have the case assembly diagram broken down. You have the exploded view of it. It also shows the features in case you aren't familiar with them. And finally, unlike other cases, the Arvina has this very convenient accessory kit. You can't just take it out. It actually has a lock here at the bottom. You can before you can take it out. Very convenient. See, it's labeled accessory, and let's open it up and see what we can have. First, we see a cleaning cloth. The Arvina has a very glossy, very attractive and glossy paint cover. The problem with that, though, is that it can attract fingerprints and dust easily. So it's very nice that Sentey provided the cleaning cloth with it. Also have the motherboard mounting screws and the standoffs. You have the speakers for your motherboard. You have a screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, very convenient. So I have these more standoffs for, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'll check out the manual and let's go back to it later. It might come in handy later on in our installation video. And a replacement PCI slot cover. It appears to be in gray. I'm not sure why they didn't just include a black one to make it match the rest of the PCI slot covers. But so move that aside and let us continue with the overview of the internals of the Sentey Arvina. As I mentioned, we'll take a closer look at how the VGA cooling mechanism works in the Arvina. It swings out open, but the best part about this is that it is actually removable just in case you don't want to use it. And there are no messy wires to deal with, since I'll show you how Sentey's design does that. It actually has these contacts, and when it's flush like this to the side of the case, it is making contact with some connectors in there. But when you open it, the connectors aren't connected, so that means that this will only the fans will only turn on when this gate is closed. So that's very convenient. As an added security option, the Sentey Arvina actually comes with a Kensington lock option for your left side panel, which is also retractable. The Sentey Arvina has a wealth of front panel connectors, including, of course, the HD audio. And you also have the USB ports. There's 4 USB ports on the top, so there are a total of 2 USB headers. And you have the eSATA and SATA connectors, data connectors. And you have the front panel hard drive LED, power switch and reset switch, and power LED buttons tied up neatly in this. It's actually managed already in this transparent cable wrap. And you have 2 Molex power connectors for the fan controller and additional power for the SATA. The Sentey Arvina supports micro ATX, ATX, and eATX motherboard form factors. There's also a large cutout for installing CPU aftermarket heatsink backplate. The Sentey Arvina uses tool-free locking mechanisms for the PCI slots. Although the PCI expansion slot covers, once punched out, cannot be reused. Installing drives in the Sentey Arvina is very convenient, and actually the entire hard drive cage is removable for easy installation. The Sentey Arvina has 5 5¼ drive bays, although only 4 have tool-free optical drive locking mechanisms. As mentioned earlier, the Arvina comes with 6 fans pre-installed. There's actually 3 120mm fans here, exhaust, 2 exhausts at the top, and another one at the rear. And the top part can actually mount larger 140mm fans. You can probably mount a radiator here, although I'm concerned because the spacing is a little bit farther apart than what I've seen in other cases. So depending on your radiator, you might be able to mount one up there. And there are also cable routing areas conveniently right below that fan, and there's another one right here in the corner, which is very convenient when you're routing the ATX 4 or 8-pin power connector for your motherboard. The Sentey Arvina has a bottom-mounted power supply, and as you can see, the ventilation is quite generous, and if your power supply allows it, if you don't have a very large power supply, you can actually mount a 140mm fan, or if not, a smaller 120mm fan. And there's also a convenient cable routing area right in front of the power supply, so you can route it at the back of your motherboard tray. To dampen the noise a bit of your power supply, Sentey also provided a little thick 1mm or 2mm thick foam at the back of your power supply mounting area to minimize the noise. With the right side panel removed, we can see the access areas behind the motherboard of the Sentey Arvina. We have a very large aftermarket CPU heatsink cutout for mounting the backplate, and there are plenty of cable routing areas. There are 2 at the top. And this one is very convenient for routing the 4-pin or 8-pin motherboard connector from the power supply. And there's also the routing areas for your SATA cables to the hard drive cage and your power supply routing cables at the bottom. And to manage your cables, Sentey has provided these reusable, and they're actually sticky on one side, so you can see. You can place it anywhere, although it's recommended to put it in these designated areas, and they are reusable. As I mentioned, you can use it to organize your cables, and there's already an example there. Sentey has already managed the front panel connectors to give you an example. Now let's put our system together inside the Sentey Arvina so we can see how it handles with all the components assembled inside.